Hello, HashCoders. I'm Lindsay, and I'm on the Google Coding Competitions team. I work at Google in London, which is where we're joining you from now. I'm here with my colleague, Prashamak.
Hello, everyone. My name is Prashamak. I'm a software engineer at Google in Paris. This is our first global edition of HashCode. We've been working on taking the competition global for quite some time, and we are incredibly happy that the moment has finally arrived.
Yes, it's very exciting. For those of you who've competed in previous editions of HashCode, it's great to have you back. And for contestants who are new to HashCode this year, a very warm welcome to the competition.
One of the amazing things about this edition of HashCode is simply how many participants registered to compete in the round. There are more than 70,000 contestants who are joining us for the round. We are grateful that each of you decided to spend the next few hours competing in HashCode. Thank you all.
More than 140 countries from around the world are represented in the competition. According to our stats, we even have 16 participants competing from Antarctica. We hope you all stay warm throughout the round.
Many teams are participating in the round from a HashCode hub. Hubs are meetups where teams from the same university, co-working space, company, or a local area can come together to compete.
This year, more than 700 hubs are being organized in 97 countries. To give you a sense of just how global this year's competition is, we tried to calculate the furthest distance between two hubs. And we think it might be the distance from the Rootstrap hub in Montevideo, Uruguay, to the hub at Fudan University in Shanghai, China. A whopping 19,539 kilometers separates the teams in these two locations.
And for another example, while a team from the University of Melbourne hub in Australia would have to travel for more than 17,000 kilometers to get to the final round at Google Ireland, teams from one of the 7 hubs we have in Dublin would have a much shorter commute of just 20 minutes in a city bus. To all the people involved in organizing this year's hubs, we really appreciate the time and hard work you put into your events. Thank you so much, and we can't wait to hear and see how they went.
We know you'll be very busy with the challenge during the round, but if you have a minute to take a break from coding, we really encourage you to check out the hashtag HashCode on Twitter and Facebook so that you can get a glimpse of just how global the HashCode community is.
And we will come back to the topic of photos in a short while.
But first, let's remind everyone what they're competing for today. As you hopefully know, today's online qualification round is the first of 2 HashCode rounds. Top teams from this round scoreboard will be invited to our Google European headquarters in Dublin, Ireland in April. In Dublin, the teams will be competing for the title of HashCode champion, cash prizes, and, of course, these lovely medals that you see up here on stage with us. To tell you a bit more about the Google Ireland office and what finalists can expect, we've recorded a short video with the head of the Dublin office. Let's roll the video.
Hi, I'm Dave O'Connor, and I'm the Director and Head of Engineering at Google Dublin. I'm super excited that HashCode is global this time around, and I'm extra excited that we're inviting the finalists to Dublin in a few weeks. Google Ireland just recently celebrated its 15th birthday, which makes it older than some Google products such as Chrome and Gmail. Our office is located right in the centre of Dublin City and is home to over 3,700 Googlers. Just like all of you tuning in, the Googlers in the Dublin office are from around the world. We have over 70 languages spoken in the office itself. The engineering teams at Google Dublin are responsible for the continued reliability and function of all of Google's products, including our cloud products. Dublin is a small city, but it has a very big city feel to it. We have so many nationalities and so many languages being spoken that it often feels like a much bigger city. HashCode is a great opportunity to, yes, hone your coding skills, but also work on your teamwork and work on your personal network and meet other people that have the same interests. So I want to wish all teams the best of luck in the online qualification round, and we'll see the finalists in a couple of weeks in Dublin.
I'm very much looking forward to being back in Dublin for the final round this year. We had a lot of fun there last year, so the countdown is on. All right, I think it's time to get down to the plans for tonight. This part is very important, so please be sure to listen up.
After this live stream, we are going to release the problem statement and the competition datasets in the judge system. Your team will have 3 hours and 45 minutes to submit your solutions. The problem statement will specify everything you need to know. So the format of datasets, the format of the submission files, what it means for your submission to be valid, and how the submissions will be scored.
Remember that you can use any programming language or even multiple programming languages to solve the competition challenge. An important feature of HashCode is that you're free to use a development environment of your choice.
Note that any team member can make submissions on behalf of the entire team. And there is no penalty for multiple submissions, so you should feel free to submit as much as you like. Note, however, that with every submission, you need to attach a zip file containing the source code that you used to generate that submission. The size of the zip file is limited to 16 megabytes, so please avoid including binaries or generated files.
We're not going to run your programs, but we'd like to be able to review the code to ensure that the terms and conditions of the competition are met. Remember that every team has to work individually, and submitted solutions have to be original. You can use third-party libraries and tools, but please don't ask your family, your friends, or strangers on the internet for help. We rely on you to keep HashCode honest and exciting.
And Lindsay, can you remind everyone what is the deadline for submitting the solutions?
Yes, of course. We have until 9:30 p.m. Universal Time Coordinated, or UTC, to submit your solutions. This is a hard stop, so don't wait until the last minute to submit. To add a bit of extra suspense, we'll freeze the scoreboard 1 hour before the end of the competition.
A team of Googlers here in London, along with our colleagues in Paris, will be online throughout the round to ensure that everything runs smoothly. If you encounter any issues or problems, check out our website. We have most frequently asked questions answered there.
I'll be back on this live stream shortly after the judge system closes at 9:30 p.m. UTC to share some highlights from the round and announce the top teams. We're very curious to see which countries will be at the top of the scoreboard this year. If you want to be featured in the closing live stream, be sure to email us your best HashCode selfie to hashcode@google.com during the round, or tweet about your HashCode experience using the hashtag HashCode, and we might feature your photo or post in the closing live stream. Now, we seem to have come back to the topic of photos again. Maybe it's a sign that we should discuss the problem statement.
All right, let's talk about photos. The reason why we've been hinting at photos during this live stream so much is that photos indeed are the theme of our online qualification round problem statement. Approximately 2.5 billion people around the world carry a camera in their pocket. We tend to make a lot of use of that camera, taking more photos than ever. This rise of digital photography creates an interesting challenge and also an amazing opportunity. What should we do with all of those photos? So one thing one could do with a collection of photos is to organize, to compose a beautiful and interesting slideshow from a photo collection. And this task indeed is the topic of the online qualification round problem.
Before we let the teams get coding, Prashamak, do you have any last-minute tips for the teams?
Sure. Just like with real problems, there is no one right answer to HashCode competition problems. Because of that, do work on improving your solutions throughout the round, and be sure to explore different ideas.
All right, there you have it. I'm sure you're all eager to get coding, so we're going to leave you here. The problem statement will be released in the judge system shortly, so it's time for all of the teams to get ready.
Best of luck to everyone competing. We hope that you enjoyed the challenge and that you learned something new along the way.
Remember that I'll be back here on the same live stream shortly after the end of the round. And don't forget that if you share a public post with the hashtag HashCode or send us your best selfie to hashcode@google.com, you might be featured in the closing live stream. But for now, get ready and happy hashcoding. Hey HashCoders, welcome back. I hope you're not too tired after a few intense hours of coding. Prashemek, who was up here with me earlier, is now with the HashCode engineering team reviewing your submissions so that we can release the scoreboard shortly. So I'm joined instead by my colleague Max.
Hi, I'm Max. I'm a software engineer at YouTube in Paris. And first of all, I would like to thank you for all the energy and the fun you put into the competition.
Yes, you were all very busy coding during the round, but you were also very busy on social media. It was really cool for us here in London to see photos being posted all around the world during the round. We hope that you took a break to look at the hashtag and enjoy the photos too.
We would like to thank the hub organizers because they put so much effort into preparing. We saw so many pictures of very, very well laid out hubs, everything ready for all the participants. Thanks a lot to all of you for doing this. Like, for instance, they were in California, they were in Ireland, they were in Libya, they were all over the world.
Yes, and one hub in Barcelona, Spain, blocked off a nice area of their office for teams to work. We saw this photo and it made all of us laugh. It says, "Danger, do not cross, wild engineers in their natural habitat beyond." We hope that you got the privacy you needed during the competition.
These were really, really well prepared, but not everybody was exactly like this. Some people are more last minute, so some folks were actually searching for teammates right before the competition started. People still reported on social media, and we hope that you actually found teammates.
So the live stream began at what was 5:30 p.m. here in London, but it was much earlier in the day for some contestants and also much later in the day for other contestants, like this person who was competing from Hong Kong, where it was midnight at the very beginning of the round. Soon after the live stream, we released the challenge into the judge system, and thousands of developers all around the world focused in on the task.
Actually, it took just 46 seconds till the first submission arrived, and it was a team called FantISTIC from Tunisia with a score of 2. Congrats to them.
Yes, the first submission came in very quickly, and it also didn't take long for teams to realize that there was a share to Twitter function in the judge system for them to show off to all of their friends and family on social media how they were doing in the competition. We saw people all around the world posting about their ranking at various points of the round, and we hope that you impressed your social networks with your scores.
But people were actually also taking breaks, of course, and it seems to be like very, very popular to eat pizza. So actually did people in hubs, but also us, the organizing team in London.
Yes, there's a nice photo of us enjoying our pizza earlier. And while the pizza was certainly enjoyable, some hubs had less enjoyable moments too. We were very sorry to see on Twitter that the hub at UCD in Ireland lost power during the round, but we were very impressed that you continued to compete on the bus on the way home, and we were very impressed with your determination during the round.
We saw the team name HTML is not a programming language. I must say, I agree. But actually, the question is now, what programming languages have you been using? So it turns out it was super tight. C++ was slightly ahead of Java, slightly ahead of Python 3, and everybody had deprecated Python 2, I guess.
So just an hour ago, as you all know, we froze the scoreboard. And when we did this, the team at the top of the scoreboard was Please Fix Guinness in Ukraine, from Ukraine, with a score of over 1,195,000. At the time that the scoreboard was frozen, we had 4,837 teams on the scoreboard, so that many teams had submitted solutions, making this a very fierce competition.
Among these 4,000 teams, we found a couple of really favorite names, which we enjoyed a lot. They were of different kinds. Some of them tried to hack us. A typical SQL ingestion, we have heard about this before. Some others were referring to the HashCode as a competition, so there's hash everywhere. And then others clearly want to go to Dublin. And then the last one, it's just flipped.
So in a few minutes, we'll get to what you've all been waiting for. We'll release the scoreboard in the judge system so that you can see how your team did. Remember that top teams from today's round will be invited to Google Ireland in April to compete for the medals that you see up here with us. Here's a nice photo of our finalist teams at last year's final round in Dublin. We had a really great time, and we're really looking forward to the finals this year. If you are eligible to attend the final round in Dublin, we'll be notifying you by email by Tuesday, March 5th.
As Flamek mentioned at the beginning of this live stream, there is no unique solution to HashCode, but many possible solutions.
Yes, that's one of the things that makes HashCode unique. We're sure that you're curious to see how other teams solve today's challenge, so we'd encourage you to use the hashtag HashCodeSolved on social media to share your solution with other teams. Discuss, share your approach, and continue to optimize your solutions.
Speaking of optimizing solutions, so if you just missed the deadline and you really had your solution ready, you can still score them. We will open the judge system again with an extended round. You have time till March 10th to submit your solution. But just to let you know, this will not count into the ranking of the online qualification round.
And if you're really hungry for more coding competitions, you're in luck. Now that you have a Google Coding Competitions profile, it'll be super easy for you to register for Google's other contests. Coming up, we have Code Jam, which some of you might be familiar with. Registration for this year's Code Jam actually opens this week. In Code Jam, contestants solve challenging algorithmic puzzles over multiple rounds from April to June. Top participants will convene at the World Finals, which will be held in San Francisco, California this August. Also, right now, registration for our competition Kickstart is open. Kickstart hosts various rounds throughout the year, and you can compete in as many rounds as you'd like. Kickstart is open to programmers of all skill levels, and you can head to their website to learn more and register.
But now it's time for the more exciting part. We are about to release the results. But please, before you run to the judge system, reload and check the scoreboard. We would like to thank you for participating, and we hope that you had a lot of fun. And regardless of your rank, we hope that you enjoyed the competition.
Remember that finalists will be notified next week, as the jury will continue to review the top team submissions over the weekend to ensure that all terms and conditions for the competition were met.
First, we're going to share the results of the top 3 hubs by the total number of points. As a reminder, there were 700 hubs across all the world today.
Yes, and I even noticed this morning that we had 10 hubs that had more than 200 participants at them, so some were quite large.
But about these ones, which ones achieved the total number of highest points?
All right, so let's find out what hubs had the highest total score from the round. In third, we have the Ghent University Hub from Belgium with more than 15 million points from the teams at their hub. In second, we have the hub KU Leuven from Belgium. I recognize that hub name. They've organized a hub for a few years in a row with over 17 million points from their hub. And in first, from Poland, we have Mimów, University of Warsaw Hub, with more than 25 million points from their hub. Very well done, all of you.
Next, we're going to share you the top 3 countries by the total number of scores. We had participants from almost all countries out there. Lindsay, what do you think? Who will be on top?
I'm not sure, but last year the top countries were France, the UK, and Romania. I'm very curious to see if that will stay the same now that the competition is global.
Let's take a look. On position number 3, one of the countries which is actually coming back from last time, it is Romania with about 400 million points. Congrats to them. Let's move to position 2. Position 2, the country is new. It is India with 530 million. And finally, on the top position, there's France. This is where we actually founded the competition.
All right, now it's getting really exciting. We are going to get to the top teams from the round. I know you're all very anxious to see who those teams are. So let's go to third place. In third place, we have a team that was composed of contestants from both Germany and Russia. And that team was Just Want to See a Famous Spire of Dublin with more than 1,223,000 points.
It was actually really close. On the second place, there's a team from Belarus, Russia, with just 2,000 points apart, Jinotega. Congrats to them.
And now the first place team from today's round. We were very excited to see them on the scoreboard because it's a team name that we recognize. They were our 2017 HashCode champions, and that team is Team AIM Tech from Russia with a score of over 1,227,000 points. Very, very well done.
I would like to congratulate the top teams, but actually everyone. Right after the live stream, we will release the scoreboard, and you can find it on the judge system, but we will also send you an email about it.
We're really looking forward to meeting the finalist teams in just a few weeks in Dublin, but we want to keep in touch with everyone who competed tonight. So if you haven't already, please do join our Facebook group. We'll be posting on it all throughout the year with lots of different updates, and we'll also share other fun coding opportunities with you all.
We hope that you had as much fun as we did, and no matter what time it is in your country right now, enjoy the rest of the day.
And with that, goodbye from London.
Goodbye from London.